Very bad lesson if you were not here yesterday, but you were here yesterday, so you notice what happens on market opens when these guys are trying to liquidate Michael Saylor and short MicroStrategy to the ground. What do? They let the dumb people buy the Bitcoin up till market open to throw that liquidity in. I'm talking about the dumb people that are putting billions of dollars of other people's money into Bitcoin where they will have to repay that billions of dollars. If it's just you guys retail, you're not dumb because it's your money. You don't have to pay that money back to anybody unless you mortgage your house. But let me warn you, exactly when market open, we start dipping. I mapped this out yesterday as well. Same thing happened today. Difference between yesterday and today, I was awake. But look at this in Discord. I put the chart side by side. It might be a little bit hard to see. I'm going to open it up here. But today is going to be the bigger drop, unfortunately. It's already starting. Today is like the bigger dollar value drop than yesterday. I think it's possibly because Saylor or someone bought a large bag this morning, but they already started shorting it, his stock. They got the best option puts this morning for Michael Saylor's stock MicroStrategy. But look yesterday at 326. This was the 9:30 candle as well. 9:30 a.m. market opens for stocks in America. And right at 9:30, like we were pushing up slowly overnight, very slowly, but we failed to make a higher high. And we were still under 71,000, but then Bitcoin came down quite hard. I had red block there right before that 9:30 candle. This morning I was sleeping, woke up a little bit late, but look back at the same time, 9:30 again. And at that 9:30, the difference between today and yesterday, we have a bigger dollar value drop today. If you look up here, 71,700 minus the 69,000, we're already down drastically. That's over a $2,000 drop in just a few minutes. Oh man. This is 5-minute candles, so a $2,000 drop in under an hour is big. That's brutal. And it's at that same time as yesterday. They know what they're doing. They're going to make they're going to become so fucking rich when they short this Bitcoin down and Michael Saylor's stock at the same time. Because the thesis is, if you short MicroStrategy, it's better than shorting Bitcoin. Because their cost of Bitcoin is 2 to 1. Bitcoin's over $130,000 if you're using Michael Saylor stock. The premium's too high. Based off the market cap and everything, it's too high. I'm not paying $130,000 for Bitcoin right now when it's on the chart for $70,000 and dropping under $69,000. That's a very expensive premium. So I already got ETHW up here last night. The red block for ETHW, it also came down quite hard, over 10%. Het says Het's been very volatile, not really moved up. That green block actually stayed in this range. We've actually been in this range for a very long time. I haven't seen a range in this long time before something skyrockets, so that's good news. Like, we've been ranging for over 4 days in this range, and people have been making a lot of money in this range. 4%, 8% moves. Yeah, the price going down on Bitcoin quite hard. Look at that. My God. They know what they're doing. You guys want me to add? I'm going to add MSTR up here, though. We're going to open this up. We're going to go down. This will be interesting. I'm sure they're bleeding down this morning. And this is a problem about investing in MicroStrategy. You know what happens when the market opens on days like this? Billions are going to get wiped away today. Even if he bought that top, even more than $1 billion going to be wiped away today. One thing about dollar cost averaging is really good to dollar cost average the bottom. It's not so good dollar cost averaging the top. you and your investors will get wrecked. Huh. I messed up something.
I like to see Hex drop under 002, maybe 0015. I think it would pick up momentum and help it pop a couple 100%.
Oh, 100%. That's rookie. It's gonna go over 1,000% when liquidity gets added back. So here's the thing about things with low liquidity. When you buy things with low liquidity, price pumps. When you sell things with low liquidity, price dumps. You have a big range like this. But when you add that liquidity back and start buying, oh man, the hits disappears quite fast, and then you have a supply shock. But look at MicroStrategy. Oh man, coming down quite hard. It did this the other day too, and it's doing this because we're near the top. We have top patterns forming. If you look on the daily, 4 hour, MicroStrategy already had like a big drop down the other day to 1255 on March 19th. And it's getting worse. Imagine he loses billions on the stock side and the Bitcoin side on the same days. It's going to look bad. It's going to look bad. And then if HETS gets liquidity added back when that happening, that's going to be funny. It's going to be the most ironic thing. Thing about HETS, we're not borrowing anybody's money, are we? No. But when you get $2,000 drops on Bitcoin, and we're not even over $100,000 yet, that's not for the brave. Look at that. That's for the bag holders. $2,000 drops. You get a $2,000 drop in 30 minutes. Oof. Let's see. Multiply that. If you're dropping $2,000 every 30 minutes, and that happens for 3 hours, that's a $20,000 drop. That'd be about 40. That'd be about 41,000 easily within 420.
Oh yeah, the new hole.
You have an open mic, Akira Nova.
Yes. No. These annoying squirrels. No, he said the same thing. He said, "Give me the baby gun." I felt bad.
But if you don't think we're going to go under 40,000 by 420, one thing you could do to hedge your bet against me and everybody else who feels like we're going to go to 40K, you could go long when we get close to 40K and have your liquidation price at 40K and make the biggest bag of your life if you don't think we're going to go under 40K. I think we are going to go under 40K, so I would be afraid of having a $40,000 liquidation price on a Bitcoin long up here. It's playing with fire. I don't think anybody would be safe to have a $40,000 liquidation price. Even if they think they're going in and out of the trades for Bitcoin, it's going to be brutal. There's people with bags bigger than us that borrowed money to get those bags, and they have to repay that money at one point in time. They don't have to repay it all at the same time, but there may be a big event, bank collapse or something that forces them to pay back everything, even if it's like a discounted rate. You better check who borrowed money to buy Bitcoin. The reason those people going on YouTube streams and interviews telling you to mortgage your house to buy Bitcoin is because they were under for quite a while. They were bag holding for over a year. Some over 2 years. Some were already liquidate. They're out of the game. They're doing something else right now. Some are in prison right now because they took the wrong bets and they used customer money to take the wrong bets. So you have to think. Do you want to trust those guys that are telling you to mortgage your house to buy Bitcoin? Well, at the same time, they have a big bag that they can dump on you when it gets their price. They're going to tell you in interviews and stuff they're never selling. But historically, like Michael Saylor, he already sold at the bottom before one time. After telling people he's never going to sell, he sold at the bottom one time and had to buy the Bitcoin back at a more expensive rate. It did make it look like his dollar cost average was lower since he sold his Bitcoin at the bottom and bought it back at the bottom because he didn't have that bag anymore that he sold. So it makes you wonder, do you want to trust those guys or do you want to front run those guys? Trading's like war. They're going to use you for liquidity and vice versa. I kind of miss the days before all this smart money was in Bitcoin. Because a $2,000 swing would make people scream and shout. Now, $2,000 move on the downside doesn't cause any panic or anything to the traders. They don't see it as a warning. They see it as, oh, this is retracement. We're going to go to 100,000 million billion trillion dollars. That's how they see it. Worst case for Michael Saylor, if he goes bankrupt on the Bitcoin side and his stock side, he still has a nice lavish lifestyle that many of us don't have. So he'll still be fine either way. So he's okay taking that risk. It's not him losing the money, it's the investors losing the money if he goes under. So he can take this ginormous risk and keep buying Bitcoin tops. The thing about watching a Bitcoin chart beside MicroStrategy, you're going to realize it's a vortex. It'll be a vortex. Because MicroStrategy stock value relies on the value of Bitcoin. And because MicroStrategy holds Bitcoin. Bitcoin value doesn't rely on MicroStrategy though. The only problem is MicroStrategy has Bitcoin that it could dump on the market. But once that's over, there's no more relationship. They're not tied together. They're not pegged together. Like Luna was to USTC. That was a vortex. People kept selling USTC. They kept selling Luna. People were minting a moored Luna for a dollar value of USTC, and they were dumping it on the market all the way down until the price was done. The thing about MicroStrategy, all they did was buy Bitcoin. They didn't peg it to their stock or anything. But investors' speculation put it at a premium to Bitcoin. But Bitcoin price drops drastically, MicroStrategy stock would drops drastically. I'm more bullish on Doge because it had not hit the all-time high yet. Doge is far from all-time high, and Elon Musk still has not done his things, and we had so much uptrend. We had so much uptrend on Doge. Even like these red blocks, they sometimes they go down like 6%. Sometimes it doesn't go down that much. But Doge is still trading around 19. We still didn't break that local top that we made above that 20 cents range either. But I'd be more bullish on Doge than Bitcoin near tops like this. Is there anybody here that would be willing to go long on Bitcoin right now on this very small dip at 70,000?
Yep.
What would be your take
Nope.
profit if you went long at 70,000?
82.
Okay. This is the trading zone that even the most seasoned trader is going to get wrecked on by charts because the fundamentals are going to come in the way. The charts are there for like the bear side, short side, but the fundamentals are going to get in the way here. There's going to be people with more money than us moving the price down and making so much money shorting MicroStrategy here. It's going to be wild. They're going to play their games that we haven't seen since GameStop. It's going to be bigger than the GameStop as well. I might buy some MicroStrategy if it goes under $1. Who knows? Who knows? We'll see. Might put like $10 in there if it goes under 100. If it goes under $1. So BJ said she would go along with the target of 82K. Would you have a stop loss on that trade or just use a smaller amount?
Probably small amount, but I would definitely, let's see. I would have parameters set up ahead of time and know when I would need to adjust. But right now, I would definitely take a risk for at least 72. Oh shoot, just a minute.
Man, it already dropped over $300 since you said that, so it's very hard. People will get stop lost easy.
Yeah. Okay. Well.
Yeah, so you have to use a smaller amount. You can't use a big amount with the stop loss. You have to just use small amounts for this stuff. Because if your stop loss is not $300, is it going to be like $1,000? That's going to be a big loss. We're down $400 here. That's a very tough stop loss. Like $400, usually people are liquidate or stop lost out in that point. Let's zoom in on Bitcoin here.
Okay, well, I was assuming that you were talking about where we were at right now.
Yeah, as I said, where we're at right now earlier, and we've already moved under $400 from that statement. I'll put it on the 1 second chart so you can see that. Like, look at this.
Okay.
From that time I asked up here, I drew the block right here.
Okay. Well, I'm sitting here looking at my chart. I wasn't looking at what time it was or where the price was. I'm looking here and I'm seeing the potential that we recover the 50 here, even on the 1 minute, and then we're going to go up here and get 70,600.
Like when I asked that question, we were at this local 1 second top right here. I said at 70,000.
Okay. Well,
that was the
I
price.
don't want to play a game. That's not important to me.
Okay. I was just asking because if people want to do this trade and they want to take this risk, they cannot use a big bag and stop loss. That's the point. They're already stop lossed out. They've been stop lossed out for the last 2 minutes of this
Okay,
trade.
but if you were going to ask me, are we going to 40K? I would say absolutely not. Not right now, and maybe not even again.
Yeah, not right now, but we will before 420 probably.
Mm-hmm. I don't know.
Like, you would not do your whole bag and have a 40K liquidation price, right?
My whole bag.
I would not even do more than 5,000 with the liquidation price 40K. But BJ, the point was, when I asked that question, just want to see if people want to use small bags for these trades or their whole bags. And if they're not using their whole bags and they're just a bunch of people say small bags, they're probably not as confident with this trade, which means the retail sentiment is bearish up here. Did you go long at 70,000 though, BJ?
I was long at 63, and I have another one at 65, I think. I don't know if you, let me look.
Did you close some longs? I thought you were in some longs above 70,000 before as well. I'm in Bitcoin short, Fabian.
And yes, I did close that because I was waiting for this, the drop.
Yeah, that's the one thing that will make me close the long. If I think it will come back to my entry, that's one thing that will make me close the long.
So every trade you set up is different. You know, some people have $2 to put in, and they can more than 2,000%. It just depends how you manage it. But that's not to say you have to go all in on something right then. With it just depends. But to miss out on even shorting or longing in between is, I don't know, maybe not. Maybe you're missing out on opportunities. If you didn't get in earlier, there are places where you can go in on a long, and then you can drop it when you get to resistance.
Yeah, there's people that hedge all the time. Like Zusi would probably be in a long and a short right here for Bitcoin, because he's holding a long from under $17,000. That's the difference. And here's the beauty of that. You guys might not know this, but if you held a long from under 16,000, like, you can still short Bitcoin at any price and your liquidation price will be zero as long as you're shorting the same number or less contracts than your long. And that's the beauty of it. So it's like he sacrificed those profits, and instead of taking profits on his long, now he's able to keep the long open and short Bitcoin, and he has no risk of liquidation. So that's also a good strategy. Because when you're shorting, my strategy for the 200 times $0 liquidation is only for long. You can't do that for shorting. Because on shorting, the price of the Bitcoin asset could go up infinitely, right? You cannot short it infinitely. You don't have infinitely amounts of money. But looking at the Bitcoin 1 second chart, this volume, like these candles. What is this? The biggest candle, like right here? Like, these are very small amounts of Bitcoin on the 1 second now. Like, the biggest candle I saw was like 2 Bitcoin on a 1 second. But if anybody took this trade exactly at 70,000 to go long, and then they come down here 0.5%, usually that's a good stop loss. They've already been stop lossed out. And then after they were stop lossed out, it pushed up another 0.5%, stop loss out the people right there. 0.5% down, stop loss those people. And then they try to short it. The people that tried to short it down there, after it went down 0.5%, went up 0.5%, they got stop lossed out. So it's a very dangerous area. If Bitcoin can move $2,000 in 30 minutes, it will stop out most people going long or short, depending on their strategy. And then you combine that with high funding fees, it gets really brutal. Like, yeah, you can tell your friends, like, look, I got Bitcoin at 40,000. I'm held it up here. I'm in my long, and it's priced at 70,000. Then you go over to your cost page, and you see that you've already paid over 7% of your bag in the funding fees just to keep holding it for another 20, 30 days. And then you start doing the math, you're like, oh shit, have to sell, or these funding fees are going to eat up all the profits. I've seen that happen before. People get something really cheap, they hold it up, it goes up 100%, and they're wondering why they're down 20%, and it's because the funding fees were so high. They went long on stuff that had 3% funding fees. The price has to go up way more than 3% and keep going up 3% every day. Otherwise, you're not outpacing funding fees. You don't have funding fees on the spot. So what we see people do, they'll close their long right before funding fees every time. They'll buy the whole bag on spot. Boom. They're still in their position, but no funding fee. Or vice versa, they'll open a short right before funding fee comes, so they don't have to pay that funding fee. That's why you usually get sell pressure around funding fee time. But also market open was when we had that big sell pressure today. We're still down, by the way, from market open. Look at that. Look at that market open. Boom. How many hours of profits did that erase? 2 days. That erased 2 days of profits. Things are getting spicy up here. You're telling me 2 days of profits can be wiped away in a 30-minute candle? Oh, man. Retail see that, they're definitely going to be taking profits. Did I post these blocks in the Discord? No. I think I put it on Twitter. My bad. My chart's messed up a little bit. But it's very funny, BJ, because when you get $2,000 price moves, before, just last year, we were used to like $100 price move. People were trading $100 price move.
5,000.
Probably in a few years, we'll be getting $10,000 price moves in 30-minute candle. $10,000 Bitcoin move in a 30-minute candle. It's going to be wild. But during the bottom of the bear market, before we started getting that uptrend, man, we were moving $50. People were very happy about $50. But we're in that undecided area. There are a lot of retail that don't know what to do. And then smart money continues to dump on them. And how many days has smart money been dumping on retail that's been buying the pumps? Let's look over the chart here. Let's see how many days they've been dumping on the retail without the retail realizing it. Let's put the 4-hour chart. It's going to be a little bit easier to see. So this is the Bitcoin 4-hour chart. It's been about 13 days, 8 hours that retail have been getting dumped on by smart money. We haven't made a higher high in those 13 days. So that infinite cash glitch is not working out in the favor of people that bought the top. And even at one point, we went down over 17% back on the Binance chart, 60,000. On the BitMEX chart, we went under $9,000. BitMEX has a lot lower liquidity than Binance. BingX has very low liquidity as well, with a low number of assets compared to some of these exchanges. BingX probably could see at least $8,000, $9,000 Bitcoin as well if it does anything like we saw in BitMEX. You want to go to CoinMarketCap, check the exchanges, check their total assets and stuff before you do trades. But man, let me do that real quick.
Wasn't Sailor's last buy like right before the top there? Like
Yeah, it's so dumb.
So that was lifting us up slowly every time he would buy in every week and a half or so, and then it stopped, and then we've been just kind of sitting there.
So BingX right here.
That's another.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, that's just why I think another reason why I think we're dumping. He's not buying anymore. Nobody's funding him to buy anymore. So that's another reason why I think we're dumping today.
His loans will definitely slow down when more people realize he's buying tops. I've already been contacting news stations and stuff, emailing them charts and everything, mentioning where Saylor's buying and the charts, showing them that he's buying the tops on purpose. It's not really good for shareholders when he's doing that. Because the smart money, they're already dumping on them. Like last time he bought some tops, like we dumped over 17%. But guys, I'm warning you now because look at this Bitcoin chart. Let's put this on a 4-hour. This was Bitcoin on BitMEX. But look down here. We went to under $10,000 on this exchange that has low trading volume and low number of assets. People still trading on it. Over 980 Bitcoin on that candle. And if you zoom in on the 5 minute, you can kind of see that a little bit better. What happened? Put on 1 second and zoom it in. But it's very funny when you look at the bottom of these wicks. Like 40,000 was a strong bounce on the 1 minute, 1 second. But if you zoom in on here, 38K was a good bounce down there. I said 40K to be conservative. We're going to go lower than 40K.
Yeah, it was around 38K when you made that announcement. I had measured it out.
But there are people trading on Binget's, and look at Binget's assets. $502 million. What the fuck? Who the fuck trading when there's only $502 million worth of assets? Let's go to Bitcoin on the Binget's chart then. Because people are going to get wrecked on this exchange next when Bitcoin drops under. Oh, man. And then they'll say it don't count. Because Bitcoin's having a good time now on the exchange, they're going to say it counts now. But they're going to say it doesn't count when that time comes. But look at Bitcoin here on the daily for Binget's. I don't understand how people trade on these exchanges with low number of assets. Because when that price crunch comes, and if you're trading futures, like look at this. How is our daily RSI oversold here on Binget's when Binance not oversold? Right? It's because volume's low. This biggest candle that I see over here, 904,000 volume. But it's and this is on daily. But if you look right here, they only have 1,000 Bitcoin. They only have 1,000 Bitcoin right there. And that address. They have 377 Bitcoin in this address. It's very weird. Very weird. So you guys saying that it won't count when it happens, when we go under 40K on this exchange, but it will. Bitcoin on Binance will hit 40K before Bitcoin on Binance. Because lower number of assets. Look, they could send Bitcoin to $1 million right now if they go to Binget's and buy that 1,000 Bitcoin. Why don't they do it? Can they even withdraw if they did that? Oh man. Like, look, why don't they go send it to $1 million right now? And they just go buy 1,000 Bitcoin that the exchange has. What would stop the exchange from selling it to them, you know? It's very risky. Man. Can you imagine exchange only has 1,000 Bitcoin? Oh boy. They still have pretty decent trading volume for 1,000 Bitcoin. But I promise you that Bitcoin is not being swapped back and forth between wallets constantly between the buyers. Because you can check that wallet address. Oh man, this is just bad for Binget's though. Oh, what about KuCoin? Some of you guys were trading on KuCoin. Does KuCoin chart count? You guys, a lot of you guys trading on KuCoin. They just froze a lot of your guys' withdrawing deposits recently as well. Does that count? The chart over there for KuCoin? Let's see real quick. And we're gonna look at source KuCoin. What's our biggest daily candle right here? 20,000. Let's go up here. Let's change it to KuCoin.
If that's the case, doesn't it mean that we dropped to 9,000 and recovered to 70K already? Shouldn't that be way more bullish?
No, that's not more bullish, because if you look at the chart, look at this. This is not bullish pattern. And let me explain why it's not more bullish. Because you see this bounce? What's the biggest thing are you watching the chart?
Yeah, I see it.
So what's the number one thing you see on this chart that's different between the bottom of the dip here compared to right here on the right side? Volume. This volume, all right over here, only 211 volume. It's not a lot. Even this dip candle was more volume than all the volume on the right side on the BitMEX chart. But if we would have like huge volume coming in, like 900 volume plus, yeah, I might agree. But this was weak volume. It's very weak volume. But you look at KuCoin, it says KuCoin has over $5 billion worth of assets, right? That's a large number of assets. But if you look at their chart, and you look at the announcements when they were freezing all the withdrawals and deposits the other day after the investigation started, it's very scary. This is Bitcoin on KuCoin. Supposedly they have high number of assets. They have over 4,000 Bitcoin here, over 1,500 Bitcoin here. But look at their SHIB balance. I'm not going to trade SHIB. I'll miss out on the opportunities there. I'm just not going to trade it. But look at this. KuCoin has over 4 times the amount of Bitcoin that Bingetz has. I'm not even trading them here because they just froze a lot of the deposits withdrawals on KuCoin as well. They could lock a lot of this value up. But if you look at their exchange, the volume's still very weird on the daily. 20,000 Bitcoin? Why is the volume so low on the biggest green candle here? Versus Bitcoin on Binance. You go to Bitcoin Binance, the biggest daily candle's over 132,000 Bitcoin. Jim Cramer, he's so fun. But yeah, I'm definitely more bearish at these levels than bullish. And most of the money I made was going long on Doge though. Most of the money I made was long on Doge. Some of the side money I made was shorting Bitcoin at these levels. So we'll see what the market makers do. But when those exchanges that people have traded on start seeing 10,000 Bitcoin, it starts to add up. Yeah, the liquidations are going to be insane on those exchanges when those crashes come. But look, if a large number of people get liquidate, which you don't want, the number of assets on your platform will probably shrink. People will not put more assets after their liquidations and stuff. But if you're going long up here for Bitcoin for 82K, that may take a very long time. You'll probably see 60,000 before 82,000. So it's a play. You could take the risk, but the people that already took the risk with the stop losses, they've been stop loss unless they are willing to lose bigger bag stop loss, like a few thousand, a few 10,000s. Generally, your stop loss 0.5% to 1% at most. Anything above that is money back to the system. Yeah, we're coming down quite hard. Anybody that took that 70K long is in the negative right here for Bitcoin. I only heard one person that said they would do it. Nobody in YouTube chat said they would do 70K either. Let's do a poll. It's a little bit weird because price is under 70K, so you might not vote. Would you go long at, let's say 69.5K? Yes. No. Let's say a price that hasn't come yet. I'll stop the poll if we go under 60K because it won't make sense any longer. The point I'm proving, I'm not trying to be annoying. The point I'm trying to prove is that retail doesn't have that sentiment. The sentiment's not there. We're the retail traders. We're not the billionaires. We're not the hedge fund managers in here in the Discord, in the YouTube chat. Maybe a few of you guys in the YouTube chat, but it's a different story. And there may be one Discord member that's over $200 million, but that's a different story as well. But for the most part, on the averages, like we're mostly just regular retail traders. We're not trading with big amounts of money compared to the market makers. We might be trading with life savings money. We might be trading with like $100 to $1 million, sometimes up to $3 million. But other than that, as retail traders, we're not moving the markets on things like Bitcoin, Ethereum. I'm not shorting Doge. I did it one time recently. I'm not shorting again. Doge does have that resistance that we have not hit yet. Bitcoin already hit its resistance. Elon did not do his things yet, though. Like, Doge is definitely more bullish than Bitcoin here. I know if I did a poll for Doge, you guys would say yes to buy more Doge if it hit 17.5 versus the people wanting to buy Bitcoin. Yeah, like right now, would you go long at 69.5? Most of the people are voting no. Everyone that went long at 70K, they are underwater at this moment in time. And they've been underwater from the moment they entered that position. If you look at the chart here, when we get all these longs, we'll be under 66K. 66K is a way better dip than the $2,000 dip from the top.
I feel like just from watching that pullback, though, we would have got a better entry price at like 69.3 or 4 if we were just trying to catch this bounce.
There's a problem about 69.3, 69.4. You see where 69.3, 69.4 are going to be at? The bottom of these liquidations. Look at that. Oh no, you said 69. My bad. 69 is even worse. 67K is the bottom of these liquidations. It's going to be a better entry than that 69.4.
Yeah, we would. I'm just saying for this short-term bounce, like when we caught it rolling off and we're talking about it, I think I could have easily averaged into a long when we started talking at like the 69.3 range, and I'd be in the money here still.
Yeah, anything
exactly-
like under 70,000 would have been way better. Like this was 2 days ago. The price was 2 days ago 68.5. So if you saw this wick down and you saw the recovery right here 69.2, 69.4, that would have been a way better entry. I see what you're saying. That would have been a way better entry. But look, let's time it. Let's see how long. Like let's say you got it at the bottom of the candle here, 69,000. You're in the profits right now by about 1%. At maximum, you've only been up 1.6%. But when we come back down in a few more of these candles, you're break even.
Yeah, but for the leverages we've been talking about, which I assume are the 100 pluses, that would be a good net.
Yes, that would have been a good one.
Which is why I said yes when I did.
You said yes at 70K though. I said
No,
70K.
I did not. No, I did not. We were down here, like 69.2.